Alrighty, folks, welcome to Friday morning. Welcome. Super glad that you're here. If you're here for the first time, my name is Tyler, and I'm going to help navigate you through the wild world of day trading futures. It's going to be a great day today. The market is doing some fun stuff, so we'll take a look at the market, see what's going on. If you're here for the first time, I'm really glad that you decided to join us, and I'm going to be helping navigate you through all of this chaos. We're going to be talking about ICT concepts. We're going to be talking about fair value gaps, order blocks, breakers, all the stuff that you need to know when it comes to putting together a strategy and a model. Also, if you are looking to take your trading to the next level, you can do so by using the code DTJ. DTJ will get you 80% off Apex currently, and it will also get you 30% off Take Trader Profits. If you want to use that code, you can find that linked there in the chat. With that, let's go ahead, open in prayer, and let's rock and roll. Father, we thank you for the opportunity we have to trade as entrepreneurs, Father, to build wealth. Father, thank you that you give us the resources to build wealth, not just for ourselves, but to advance the kingdom of God. Father, I just pray that we would search our hearts, Father, that we would find peace in our hearts to know why we are doing what we're doing, Father, so we can advance the kingdom, so we can provide a better life for our family, so that we can start the ministry that we've been wanting to. Father, I just pray that you would give us the conviction and the reason behind why we do what we do. And I pray for your blessing over myself and every trader here. I pray for increase in their trading in Jesus' name. And if you agree, hit that like button. Amen. Amen. Good morning, everyone. Let's go ahead and rock and roll this morning. How's everybody doing? Let's go ahead. We're going to start by, because I got on a little bit late and I have not been able to look at the market, I'm not going to be taking the 930 model, whether it's a good setup or not. I just don't want to rush into what's going on in the market. I haven't been able to check it out, and that's a education point right there for you guys. Is if you are sitting down, don't take a trade within the first few minutes that you're sitting down and go, oh, that looks great, maybe I should take that. Don't take it. There's probably no good reason why you should take a trade so quickly. So we're gonna go and we're gonna jump into the charts here, but just keep that in mind. Use that as a principle for your own selves. I mean, the market right here looks fantastic when it comes to potential sell-off right here. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but we're going to find out. So we're going to jump to the higher time frame, and we're going to look on the weekly. Okay, today's Friday, so this candle is finishing today. We have been inside this and referenced this volume imbalance all week. I mentioned this at the beginning of the week that I figured we were going to end up there at some point, whether it was the beginning or end of the week, okay? So where do we want to end the week? I don't know. Do I see an extremely bullish candle? That's a possibility. We've already ran yesterday's high, last week's high, the previous week's high. We could reach for that. That's a potential. But my guess, if I gun to my head, I think we end somewhere around there. Okay, so that's the weekly perspective. Let's drop down to the daily. From a daily perspective, we opened higher. We had a gap opening. And typically, look at this, gap higher, and what direction did we go? We gapped lower, what direction did we go? We gapped lower, what direction did we go? Do you see my point? So when we have a gap higher, there's a bit of an anticipation that we're going to see or end higher on the day. That's kind of my expectation. Now, could we get a retracement down into something? Absolutely. That is 100% of the cards of where it could potentially go. So we'll see what it wants to do here. We do have the previous day high. I always like to see tagged. I always like to see the previous day high tagged. It didn't tag it on Tuesday. You could see here, we never tagged that. So we do have some unfinished business down here. There's some unfinished business down there. Are we going to get that type of a candle? You know what? That's a possibility if we are consolidating. I don't know if we're consolidating. We've had 3 candles bullish. So Monday, manipulation. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday higher. So we could get a retracement back down. So do you understand what I'm saying? We have our accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and then we have our retracement into the close. That's a possibility as well. So there's a couple different ways that we could see price do that. And that leads us to the, thank God it's Friday, the TGIF model ICT talks about, which is looking for a 20% retracement from that week's range. So if we tag this low and we go to this high, 20% is sitting right there. 20% is sitting at 19,193, and it's just below the previous day high. So that, I think, that makes sense based on what I'm thinking. If we look at the weekly profile, manipulation, expansion, and we just resettle, that's a possibility. Could we also just expand higher and then retrace? That's an option as well. I'm just coming out with different scenarios. We're trying to figure out what our higher time frame draws are and what our interest levels could be. Okay, so we rebalanced the higher portion of this volume imbalance, and you can see since then we've been rolling over. So to me, this tells me we continue to want to respect this. So initially, I'm interested in lower prices. I'm interested in maybe this 4-hour fair value gap that's right here. I think we did actually tag that. The low on this is 19,221. The low on that one is 19,216. So we did sweep into this 4-hour fair value gap. Dropping down into the hourly, we have an hourly fair value gap here, sitting right there. I'm going to lighten it, sitting right there. Asia highs, we can get rid of that. Previous week highs sitting here. We can get rid of this. I don't care about that anymore. Here's our 20% retracement sitting right here. I think I want to change the colors of those. I don't like the color. I need something, let's go purple. I don't think I have anything straight purple right now. So that's going to be our new color for a 20% retracement. Market's opening in 14 seconds. Let's drop down to the 1-minute time frame and see what happens here. We've swept the highs. So, and we pumping the pumpa. So the 930 model would have worked out, would have played out nicely. But like I said, I got in late and I'm not going to rush anything. I'm going to get set up. I don't even have any of my accounts open yet, which is totally fine. I'm not going to be taking a trade within the first 15 minutes of the market opening anyway. Let's check out the news, and then we'll jump back to try to figure out what our bias and our narrative possibly could be. Before we do that, we're jumping to Forex Factory. Today is Friday. We have Orange Folder News at 10 o'clock. Revised consumer sentiment is coming out at 10 a.m. Basically, we're free. We're good to go. We're good to go. Do I offer signals? No. What I do on live stream is what I do on live stream. So you'll see me take trades, but this is more education based. It's not meant to be signals. Do I take trades live on screen? Yes, because I want you to know I'm legit. I'm not just some random dude on the internet behind a screen with no picture posting wins and posting trades and posting signals. No, it's none of that. All right, so that's, I think we have a green light to trade. Once I get my personal green light at 9:45, I will be good to go. Let's jump up to the 4-hour again, and let's see if we can see any potential hourly or 4-hour reversal. Okay, so we have a 4-hour here, a sweep of liquidity. This could be a 15-minute retracement. from 6 a.m. I don't like it's too far back for me. Here is one here. Here's the hourly. The hourly there's an hourly fair value gap that we have right here. We got the hourly SIBI here. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, if you're looking for signals, you can find another channel. This isn't about signals. If you're looking for confirmation, if you're looking for a second opinion on where the market's going, teaching you how to trade, teaching you how to be self-sustaining. There was just a trader, a student of mine that was commenting that they feel like they're relying too much on my opinion. And I thought that is very mature. They're growing as a trader, because do I want somebody to watch me the rest of their life? No. I want them to learn what they came to learn, become self-sustaining, and then go off on their own. That's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. All right, so we have that hourly there, sweep of liquidity. I like the downside. I do. I like this here. Jumping to the 30-minute, we have a bullish 9 a.m. 30-minute candle, a potential sweep towards right here. We'll see if it wants to go higher. We could potentially go all the way up to here. We have a breaker up here. But look at all the wicks. It's kind of messy. Do you see what I mean? It's a little messy. I don't like how it looks. It makes my charts look nasty. And we're inside the previous week's new week opening gap. So I'm going to actually I think I'm going to delete this one. No, we're going to delete this one. One of them I'm deleting here. I'm going to delete one of these here, folks. I think I'm going to delete the 331, the new week opening gap there. I'm going to delete that. Clean up my charts. This is our new week opening gap, new day opening gap for today. Previous day high is down here. There's no fair value gaps in any of this price action. We got relatively equal lows. We did sweep this low in the 9 a.m. candle, but what does the hourly look like there? Hourly doesn't have anything. The 4-hour did wick down into that. So the 4-hour candle did potentially rebalance partially this 4-hour fair value gap. If we're bullish, that's all that we'll probably see, and we could see an expansion. I'm not as interested in that. I would rather see it move further down, tagging this high. Where at the end of the week, I would like it to kind of settle back into the close for the week. So that's kind of my narrative that I would like to see happen. Got the 15-minute fair value gap right here. This makes the most sense to reverse right here. If we're going to reverse, if we're going to see some type of lower move, I think it would be right around here. So I'm going to actually remove the hourly to clean up the chart and focus on the 15-minute. I'm okay if it wicks up here. That would be nice to wick all the way up here to this breaker, but then close inside that 15-minute fair value gap. So before I end up trading, I'll know if we've hit this breaker and if we've closed inside there. That will be a nice potential indication if we're going to roll over. Let's take a look at ES. Let's make sure ES is all worked up here. I'll get to the chat here in a second, folks. I just want to get all settled up. All right, so from a daily perspective, we opened inside the range here. We've ran the previous day high, and we still have a large opening range gap here. That's concerning as far as everything that I just said with NQ. That makes this very potentially bullish. That's unresolved. I mean, this is a lot of open areas. That's from the tariff announcements. And just seeing how this is structured, this makes it look very bullish. So ES is bullish in my opinion. NQ doesn't look bullish. So when I got contrary views of things, I have to get more information. I need them to have some type of correlation. The point, we'll know, here's our breaker similar to NQ, and we have a 15-minute fair value gap. I'm going to keep an eye on this 15-minute fair value gap on both ES and NQ, and we're going to see how it wants to play out. I'm willing to switch bias to bullish if we need to. All right, let's go ahead and get my everything else set up. I'm still not set up yet. I end up doing some PM trading. The market was really nice, to be honest. All right, we tagged the breaker on NQ. 3 minutes and I will have a green light to trade here. How's everybody doing this morning? Ted, good morning. Matthew, Mary, Wilhelm, Jahan, good morning. Monet, good morning. Welcome. How you doing? Northern, how you doing, my friend? Done trading for the day after a solid trade in gold. Way to go. Stan, good morning. First fair value gap, 934. Do we got that? 33. I don't have 934. I have first 933. Actually, I got our first fair value gap is right here. First fair value gap is 931. So we tagged the 15-minute breaker. We're seeing a sell-off. We have an inversion fair value gap right here. If we close below, not going to lie, that does look really good. I'm not going to take it. I don't have the green light to trade yet. All right. All right. See the reaction to the first fair value gap so far? Market is looking pretty smooth. A close below this technically is a trade. I'm not going to take it. I've already decided. No close as it is. ES, so ES, the 15-minute fair value gap did not close. It closed really bearish. Look at that 15-minute candle right there. That's what I really wanted to see to determine if we were going to go higher or not. Could we still pump? Sure. But that tells us there might be an opportunity for lower prices, at least temporarily. The 15-minute, look at that. A very indecisive, big wicked candle. Not good for opening price. We did tag the breaker, though. So a lot of that could be a sign that we may run for these equal lows, potentially the previous day high. And then we have our purple line down here, which is our 20% retracement for the week. This is a very big and obvious fair value gap here. So I expect some resistance there if we get there. Especially we have a swing low. This should find support. If this closes, I think my opinion changes. I'll take this trade. One contract. All right, I'm going to take a position there, folks. I don't know why it didn't. Am I in this trade altogether? Nope, it doesn't have me in that trade. Or maybe I'm in the wrong account. Oh, no, I'm not. I see what happened. I need to close this trade, folks. I got to close that trade. I was on mini contracts, not micros. That scared the crap out of me. Thankfully, I closed green. So I'm missing this trade altogether because I was on a mini contract instead of a micro. I will rejoin this, I think, for this low, though. So my target is going to be this low right there. Trade is invalid if we close above this fair value gap sitting right here.
Submitted.
Put a stop loss in there at 40 ticks or 40 handles. Looking for this low to hit. I'm going to drop this a little bit lower to make it 20 points for a trade. Need to give this a little more space just to make sure it doesn't wick above this fair value gap that we have right here. That's what we're looking for it to stay underneath. There we go. Target hit. Just make sure I got it sold everything.
Order canceled.
There we go. Perfect. Executed to precision. Besides the little hiccup I had with the mini contracts compared to micros. Okay, so I expect looking back at all of at this chart right here, I expect it to find support here. That's why I wasn't willing to hold it longer. I could have dropped my target to this fair value gap box because that's really where it was running towards, but I just had it at this low. So I left how much on the table? 8 points. 8 points, that's fine. All right, so one trade right there, folks, and you could be done on the day. There's my account. You can see all those. One trade. Let me pull that back up because it's going to pop up later. All right, so there we go. Now we're just going to sit and wait and see what the market wants to do here. This is a support level. Why would I call this a support level? I said this yesterday, and I want to see if anybody is remembering it. Okay, does anybody remember why? Why do we expect price to find support here, at least temporarily? I mean, I'm just saying it's not going to. I don't think it's just going to close right through it. We're going to get some type of retracement. It could be only to this breaker right here. But I'm saying, as you can see, it goes into it and comes up. It goes into it, it comes up. It goes into it, comes up. That's what I think and why I would want to sell personally here. And the main reason for that is we have this swing low. And if you look directly underneath it and to the left, it is an obvious fair value gap sitting right there. So anytime you have a swing low and to the left a fair value gap right beneath it, this is a high probability fair value gap. Meaning you can expect it to find support there. How long? I don't know. We don't know if it wants to go lower or higher. But if I'm taking an entry based on an inversion fair value gap from this level right here, and my target is this low, or let's just say this fair value gap, and my stop is sitting at 17 handles, right? 40 handles, 17 handles, that's a 2R trade. Do I want it to go back all the way to break even? That's a real possibility because of this fair value gap. So I'm not going to let a trade go back to break even when on a high probability support level. I wish I got in early. I wish I was able to get in earlier and didn't have that mistake. I took a mini contract instead of a micro, so it didn't copy. It wasn't that I was too concerned about taking the mini contract. It was about it not copying to all my other accounts. So I had to close the trade, jump to the micros, took the micros so it could copy to all my accounts. Now, do you see why? Also, let me remember how I said I'm not interested in taking this short? I'm not interested. Right here, I mentioned I'm not interested in taking this trade. One, it just came out to 15 minutes. I just got the green light to start trading, and I wasn't going to take it right at 9:45. But then the second reason was I didn't like it just dropping like this. Price doesn't move in one line. It moves in jagged lines. So when we got this bullish candle at 9:45 and then completely erased it, closing below my entry model, that turns this into what? Who can tell me what this turned into by the closing of this candle? The 9:45 turned into what type of PD array when this candle closed below? It's obvious. Somebody can tell me that. Yes, a bearish order block, a bearish OB. OB stands for order block. Now, what happened after that? Did price ever really get above that level again? Let me change that color to make it obvious. here. Did price skip above that order block low again? No. This what makes now this inversion fair value gap so much more appealing. This fair value gap that I have highlighted out is now an even higher probable entry because of this order block. Look at the price. It closed below. It tries to go back above. Probably scared some people out, but closed. It tried again, closed. Tried again, closed. Tried again, closed higher, but closed inside of our fair value gap below the order block, and then we see the collapse. That is a signature in price you want to take a picture of, screenshot, take your notes on it, and wait to see it again. Because that has a higher win rate than just a fair value gap or inversion fair value gap by itself. If you guys like the explanation, if you like the on-screen trade, if you found it helpful, insightful, educational, would you do me a solid? Hit the like button if you found it valuable information. I would really, really appreciate that. It's free. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything, but helps me out, guys. I have a desire to help as many believers as I can become financially free. That is the reason for what I'm doing. I don't have to stream. I stream every day for free. And I've been doing this for like almost a year, live streaming. And I do it with, 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes 100 people. That's it. That's a lot. That's a lot. Look at that candle. Surprise, surprise, 10 o'clock is here. What did I say about that fair value gap, folks? Look at that fair value gap. I'm telling you. If you want to learn, there's 2 lessons we learned today that will change your trading. It will change the way you trade if you do the 2 things that we just talked about today. Identify higher probability fair value gaps that are right below swing lows, obvious swing lows. This is obvious. This is obvious. And you want obvious. And then order blocks combined with inversion fair value gaps. Those 2 lessons right there can change the way you trade. Seriously. All right, so that is a very aggressive 10 a.m. Was that 10 a.m.? Yeah, 10 a.m. candle. Let's pop out to the 4 hour and let's take a look. What do we got? 4 hour. This 4 hour candle wicked into this 4 hour fair value gap. So technically, we have the green light to move higher on NQ. Now, if I had a preference on the hourly time frame, ooh, look at that, folks. We have a reversal model in the making on the hourly. We have the 10 o'clock. We're looking for a 5-minute fair value gap entry. Do we have one? Not yet. So anytime in this hourly candle or the next hour from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., if we can identify a 5-minute fair value gap, when price comes up, we can have it come back down into that 5-minute fair value gap and we can take a long. And that narrative lines up with ES running, filling in that opening range gap on ES. I like the idea of longs now based on how it's looking since 10 a.m. But we have some time. We got to get a potential fair value gap here. So if we can get that, that could be a long. Not a guaranteed. I'm saying don't take it just because I said it right now. But what did we just put together? We identified our bias. Number one, first thing you always have to do. We have a higher time frame, bullish target, and a lower time frame, and a higher time frame bearish target. Okay. 2, we need to come up with narrative. How is it gonna potentially reach one of these targets? Okay. Well, we just have this fair value gap. We swept the low. We have now a 1-hour potential reversal. We could see higher prices. So we have a potential reason for us to go higher and how it wants to get there. It manipulated lower and now moving higher. I'm still putting together a thesis here. Okay? We could still sweep these equal lows down here and the narrative still could be in play. But if we get a 5-minute, and then once you go from step 2, you go to step 3. Step 3 is finding your model inside that narrative. It's an easy 3-step process. Identify your higher time frame targets, figure out how it could get there, and then find your model within it. I like those equal lows being ran. I'm not going to lie. When you look at smoothness and jagged, this is jagged. This is smooth. So even though I want it to go higher, the structure I'm seeing here just looks like this would want to be ran. Yes, it was ran, but it was swept by only a tick. A tick or two. A tick or two. Tick or two. So that's how I come into the market every day, guys. It's a simple 3-step idea, 3-step process on what I'm looking for, what I'm looking to identify. I'm going to switch screens here. I don't think it's going to be up, so I need to put it up. But that's how I put together what I think is going to happen with price every day. And if you can't clearly identify your targets, a higher time frame target for a bullish idea or a bearish idea, or let's say they're equally feasible or one looks more probable than the other, you're leaning towards the more probable one. But if you can't figure out how it's going to get there, then there's no reason for you to take a trade. You have to be in front of the charts long enough to be able to start putting together an idea and putting together a narrative on how price may want to get there. Sorry, I'm trying to get my other screen working, so I'm not sitting on the screen intentionally. Well, I am because I'm trying to get it to work. And I can't work on it unless I'm on the screen. We'll come back to it. Yeah, look at these equal lows. So that same equal low on the hourly also has another equal low. So on the left side of the chart, that looks too juicy. So what did I just tell you guys? I said I have an idea for a bullish, but this is giving me a potential idea or narrative for a lower price. How could price come back down here? How could price move higher? We already identified how price could go higher. We have a 1 hour reversal. We want to see price come into and find support at a 5-minute fair value gap. If it does it and stays in that 5-minute fair value gap and moves higher, we can take a long from there and potentially capitalize on this push higher. If that 5-minute fair value gap breaks, I'm now saying, well, there we go. We may have an opportunity to run towards these equal lows, and I can look for a lower price trade. So we just put together a bullish side and a bearish side, and now we just wait and see what happens. MR, thanks. Now you can tell us what the next 100-point move is. Yeah, I would love to be able to do that. Luke, man, I've taken minis instead of micros before. Talk about a heart attack. Oh, it is. I will tell you it was less of a heart attack because it was only on one contract. Can you imagine me taking a mini and it was on like all, I don't know how many accounts I have, 10, 15? That would be just nerve-wracking because I didn't expect it. Drop a like. That's right. Definitely appreciate you explaining the trades. You bet. Intel is causing bearish pressure. What's going on with Intel? Here we're still using this bearish hourly, bearish 15-minute. This is still a breaker, still a valid breaker here. But we'll see if it wants to close above this 15-minute fair value gap. That will also be a bullish indication as well. What's up, Matthew? Yeah, always try to make sure you got the right contracts up. Here's from the 15-minute perspective. I'm going to drag this all the way over. Look at that. So we got all of these levels that are sitting right here. Not going to lie, that's hard to ignore. Do you see what I mean? That's hard to ignore. Price will want to run that. So either we just start blowing through these levels here and we just keep running higher, or I'm thinking lower here. All right, so we just had the 5-minute close. Now we have a 5-minute fair value gap right here. We'll see if it wants to come back down to that level. So this is based on the 1 hour reversal model that we got right here. Here's our candle right here. We swept that low and we swept all of these lows. So really nice candle here, 1 hour. So based on just this, when I look at this model, I really like this. I just don't like that it's all these equal lows. So we got the sweep of liquidity. We have a 5-minute change in state of delivery at 9 a.m. At 9 a.m. is right here. Here's our 5-minute order block. Once we close above this, we have our 5-minute change in state of delivery. So check, we have our change in state of delivery. Now from 10 a.m. on, we're looking for a fair value gap or a 5-minute fair value gap for price to get into and to move higher. So here's another scenario. We have our 5-minute fair value gap right here. What happens if we get one right here? What do we do? Well, what would we do? Oops. Well, I'm personally probably taking the first 5-minute fair value gap. Could it run through this one and go to this one? Yes, and that would suck and it would be a loss. But if we are truly bullish it's really hard for me to see us coming all the way back down to that level. If we don't hit this high and then come back down into this level, I'm probably taking that long. What time is that? 6:15? It looks like it's probably going to get it right now. I mean, look at that fair value gap that we called out, boys and girls. I mean, look at that. I said high probability, probably a reversal there. Now, I'm not going to take a long off of that because it's not my model. But, I mean, I guess you could turn it into a model. That's absolutely a possibility. But right now, this is what we're looking for. So, I'm liking the structure we're seeing here, or this retracement. Again, what do we got? We got a swing low and a fair value gap. A 5-minute fair value gap that hasn't been touched. So, a lower time frame swing low. Higher time frame, 5-minute fair value gap. That would be nice for us to reach into. We'll see how aggressive it wants to go. And it could be at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. macro trade. What's up, Brian? How you doing? Would a fib on the leg show us premium versus discount? Yeah. I mean, you could put that on here. So that would be right here. Here's our equilibrium. So if you want to be safe, and you want to be more, conservative, you would wait for the lower one. If you wait for the lower one, you could miss out, but that's part of just saying, you could add this to as part of your protocol. So if our protocol for the hourly reversal is a 5-minute change in state of delivery followed by a 5-minute fair value gap entry, you could also include in there that that 5-minute fair value gap needs to be below equilibrium or in discount. That would set up nice structure for a mini market maker sell model. Right? You have your smart money reversal here, and it comes down here, sweeps this low, stops inside this 5-minute, and then continue higher. I think that's a real possibility. And since we're out of the 10 a.m. macro, personally, I like the idea of us running through this 5-minute and coming lower. And hopefully that it comes lower around the 11 a.m. macro time, and then which starts about right here, and then look for a long there potentially. Yeah, you also have, TGIF, yeah. If you're looking at TGIF, that's down here. I have the purple line right there. If it's not going to happen in the AM session, it can happen in the PM session. Is looking at ES here on the hourly time frame, nothing. Do we got 15-minute close? So look at the 15-minute. 15-minute closed above that fair value gap, but still respected the breaker. So that's a bullish signature, but not enough confirmation to know if we're moving higher. We have low resistance liquidity. We have a market maker sell model. I mean, there's so many. Do you see how what I'm talking about, guys? As I keep talking, I see both sides of the market. When you see both sides of the market, it's better to just wait for more confirmation. Because the last thing you want to do is just think, oh, I got it, and stop your analysis and then be wrong. Because these equal lows are really attractive. Almost too attractive. It almost makes me not want to take a long. I know I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I know that, but that's the trader. I mean, if you're not talking out of the both sides of your mouth, you're not doing your analysis. Apple also gapped down hugely on open, but regained after news of it will be ready for production in India in 2026. Moved out of China. Oh, they moved out of China, huh? I tell you what, I think India could be the next superpower, not superpower, but look at that. Did we just wick into that 5 minute? I'm going to miss this if it goes. Does that look at that. 5 minute, first one, boom. Look at the reaction of it. A little early to tell, but it's outside of my macro. It's outside of the macro time, so I'm not going to take it. I'm already green on the day. I want to be a little more conservative. Hey. Yeah, I mean, China wants to play hardball. Boom. See you later. India, they got 1 billion plus people over there that I'm sure could have a better life. See ya. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but also, folks, I'm not taking a trade. So I'm not going to take a trade here. I'm going to wait till not a 10:45 before I decide what direction I think it's going to go and then potentially pull the trigger. Because I do see the equal lows as a possibility. I also see this model playing out as well for higher prices. But both are legitimate ideas and strategies, and one's not stronger than the other for me. If I had to pick a direction, I think this is the level. I think the downside is what I would probably lean more towards. And the reason I like the structure of a market maker sell model here. I like that it's Friday. I like the 20% range. This could be stage one of accumulation, though, on a higher time frame. So it could easily just pump higher. That's what I'm saying. I see both sides of it. So wait to know which direction it's going to go and then participate in the continuation. What's up, House of Hole? How you doing, my friend? It could come back to that first fair value gap. Yeah, it's inside that 5 minute. We're going to do our morning affirmation. I forgot to do that. Let me grab that here, folks. Look at that drop. This is the saving grace for bullish price action. If we run this or close below, I'm 100% looking for a down move. We might end up taking this sooner than later. I don't like, this is a large fair value gap. I don't like it for a short. It's too big. It's 37 handles. But it's probably going to go, folks. We crown you king of glory. Yep. Yep. What time is that? 20. We got... Let's wait for the close. I'm looking for this close. That's what we're watching. I want to 5 minute, see where that closes on the 5 minute here. All right, we closed inside of that 5 minute fair value gap. Still waiting to see if this wants to find support over the next 5 minutes. That's a big thing. This could just be a manipulation to try to get people out. I don't know. But I'm not going to chase anything right now. It's in between my ideal times of trading. And I just don't want to be caught up in between not knowing the direction. Because I think that's what would happen. I used your promo code on 19 Apex account. Lance, thank you. That means a lot. Everything I do here is free, and those give major discounts to people. And so I shouldn't say everything. I do have, obviously, a course, but I'm grateful for that. Thank you so much, Lance. What's up, Viking? How you doing? At this point, we're still waiting to see if we're going to close below that or not. A little breaker right there. A little breaker action. Looking good. That's the breaker. I don't like that fair value gap. I'm going to get rid of that. We're really just watching this. If I didn't take my first trade and it wasn't a win, I probably would have been paying more attention to take this. This is that's beautiful, folks. I like the PA today. So far, it's been good. Still going to wait for another 15 minutes before I look for something. Alex, yes, we took a trade. We took a short right at 940, 947. This candle right there. 946. We went short to that swing low for about 20 handles. All right, I was working on my the daily affirmation. Let's do our daily. Well, no, we're not gonna do that. We'll talk about that here in a second. I want to see how we continue to react. Honestly, if I had a preference, I would like us to run this low, stay inside this fair value gap, come back up into this fair value gap, and then I would like to see the sell off at 11 a.m. That's what I would prefer to see. I don't want it to do it yet. I want it to give me a shot. If we close right below this, I will run and make a stop at break even. There's a good chance I'll get stopped out, but I'll take that entry. Because I will move my stop to break even as soon as this low is grabbed. because most likely when it runs this, it's going to it's going to run, but it could just do one of those and stop me out. But I would prefer it not to do that yet. I would love for it to just come back up into this fair value gap here, and then we've already closed below that 5 minute, so that hourly reversal is now gone. The only thing we're looking at this is it finding resistance. We want to see it come up into here, wick into here, but bodies stay inside of that inversion 5 minute fair value gap, or the inversion fair value gap. All right, so since it's going up, let's go ahead and jump to our affirmation for today. Here's today's affirmation. I am not here to impress. I am here to improve. Quiet consistency will take me where hype never could. God sees my faithfulness, and that's enough. I am not here to impress. I'm not here to throw my P&Ls on social media. I'm not here to try to get other people's attention. We're here to improve, to get better day by day. Quiet consistency will take me where hype never could. God sees your faithfulness, guys, and that's enough. Bam! Oh, it's still not working. Alex, it's because it's passing time. It's passing time. Every person that saw this drop right here is trying to go short right now. Every person's trying to go short. It's going to pass time and then get more people out of that short, and then they're going to run lower. I'm now fully to the downside. I'm not interested in a long. If it goes long and goes to the moon, it's going without me, folks. I'm not interested in that anymore. This price action here has convinced me to look down here. There's no one like a God. Sweep of that high. Let's see where this body closes. What time is that? 34. That's a 5 minute candle. All right, it just closed directly above it. I'm okay with a little sloppiness. If it closed like way up here, that changes it. But we did close over that inversion. You can see that right here. See that? That candle right there. But it's still within, technically, look at that. Wow. Guys, I might change my opinion here. This 5 minute fair value gap had a volume imbalance down here. We're still in a valid long. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to take a long. I'm still going to stick with that. But that's interesting. We have to include the volume imbalances when we look at fair value gaps. I'm not interested in a long. I'm just noting that hourly reversal model 5 minute fair value gap is still valid. Technically, it's still valid. I'm not interested in it though. I want to see it sell off. There's no 2 minute fair value gap. There's only a 1 minute for an inversion. There's two fair value gaps here. So it did what I wanted so far. We swept this low without running below the fair value gap, and we're seeing it retrace. Now I would like it to find resistance inside of this breaker area and then roll over. That's what I'm looking for. And then when we close, there's a couple entry points. If we close below this fair value gap, you better believe it's going to be some type of aggressive move lower. That's going to be an aggressive. If we get back down here, the move down will be aggressive. I can promise that. There's no doubt in my mind. It will be an aggressive move. So the question is do we get back down here? That's kind of what that's where my thoughts are now going. I like this breaker too. You could, if you want to take a short right there, I mean, this is a legitimate entry right there, folks. I might even do that. I'm not going to lie. 38 points to that high. Here's our inversion inside that breaker. Let's see if it reaches up into that. I would be willing to take an entry there and keeping a small stop loss. I just don't know if I want to. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close I'm going to close my funded accounts. I'm happy with the funded accounts that I've gotten. And we're going to swap over to some eval stuff. I don't want to. There's no reason for me to do anything else. I'm going to close my funded accounts. It's Friday. I don't want to do anything crazy. So for me to take, if we get up into this fair value gap or this inversion, I'm not just going to blindly go short here. I'm going to wait for a 1 minute change in state of delivery for an entry. Does that make sense? I'm waiting for a 1 minute change in state of delivery, meaning I want a 1 minute order block to form. This is how you avoid trying to find the top. Is you find your key level. For me, it's this inversion fair value gap inside this breaker. And I'm going to wait for a bearish candle to close through this 1 minute bullish candle. That saves me in case it just wants to pump higher, right? Obviously, it's pumping higher right now. If I would have just taken the entry right here, I would be in drawdown dealing with this right here and a very bullish close on that 1 minute. So that takes out this whole idea, right? Do you see what I'm saying? You have to have these protective confirmation entries. So yes, I wanted this. Yes, it looked amazing. Everything was lining up, but I wanted just the 1 minute change in state of delivery. Could we still get it? Yeah, I mean, I guess we could. We're technically back up at that breaker up there. I'm not looking for a long. We just lined up to a mitigation block right here. This is a mitigation block. Mason, when I'm talking, like I can't. I think as it comes to me, and when you're seeing all of this bullish price action, you can't just assume that it's going to turn at a specific spot. Why would it pick this one? Why not this one? What if it's this one up here? We want to look for those confirmations that price could be turning over and roll over. That, like, for example, we look at this price level right here. We have this breaker high. We displace lower. We close below this. Do you take, I've seen this happen so much that I would take that on that push higher because I've seen this structure so much. But when we're looking, when we're looking at the retest of this area, I want to know, is this really the level or are we really going to push through it? So when you have a specific model that you've seen produce over and over and over and over again, like the breaker, I take it. But when we come back up for the second attempt, I don't take that first entry. I take that back. I have taken it from time to time, but it is not the standard way that I would take it. I want to see that change in state of delivery. Look at this. We didn't get, even when we swept this high and it looked like we were respecting this breaker, did we get a 1 minute change in state of delivery right here? No, we didn't even get a candle to close below any of these green candles. So that means we're still waiting. Now that we've closed above this inversion fair value gap, and if we get a 1 minute change in state of delivery, it does not mean you go short because it violated our idea and we need to find a new model or a new set of, a new narrative on how price could get there. In the past, what I would do is go, oh, I really like this level. Oh, it went way past it. Oh, it closed below it. There's my entry. I'm going to take it now. No, because it violated the whole idea. This breaker is now gone. This breaker has been violated completely. The whole idea is down the tube. So we have to find another narrative on how price is going to get there. And we sit on our hands. Now, could that narrative be right here off of this mitigation block? Sure. Absolutely, it could be this mitigation block. I'm not a fan of taking mitigation blocks. There is this order block. I mean, that's a nice order block right there before that drop. That's nice. So this could be that level. Oh no, Mason. I mean, there's a big responsibility. I've had many thoughts and just, heavy moments of thinking of the weight of responsibility that I carry as a content creator and as an educator doing in front of other people. Yeah, I don't have hundreds of people watching me, but still, man, I want to treat every person. When I'm doing something, I want to do it with as much integrity as I can. So I take it really responsible on how I communicate with people. Ultimately, I'm not clicking the button for you. You're the one responsible, but, there's a level of, it's like me if I was to tell my kids to do something and they rely on me and it goes bad, man, I would feel horrible as a father. All right, it's 10:45. I'm now looking for a trade. Israel, thank you, my friend. I'm glad it's helpful. I want it to be as helpful as it can. So if you're appreciating it, guys, hit the like button for me. We're going to end this week good. Last week we ended green. This week we're probably, we are ending green this week. So good week overall. Let's see if we can See if we can get one more eval trader in here. I really like this. All right, if you want to be conservative, guys, and you want to wait, your trade idea is when we close below this fair value gap, you're taking a short. I mean, look at this shelf. It's a table. All of this bouncing, all this play up here, boy, when we run through this, we are going to run through it. Now, it does not mean that we don't close below and it doesn't try to scare you and then go lower. Okay? That could absolutely happen. But when we close below this, we're probably running a lot lower over the coming minutes and hours. Never stop, Lance says. Never. Never. Man, ES is still looking pretty nice for that breaker. Look at that breaker. Well, look at that breaker right there. Looking pretty good. NQ's looking pretty good for that breaker as well. Here's that inversion fair value gap. Look at the respect on the 15-minute candle. I want you guys to see this. This is really nice. Boom, right there. Okay, this is the inversion inside of this breaker. ICT talked about this. This comes from ICT. If you see an inversion inside of your breaker, it will probably reach up into that inversion. So there's that reach. It's respected it. The bodies have stayed below the discount portion. That tells me we potentially are on the right side on looking for a downside move. That's how I feel about that. That's how I feel. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. See this little volume imbalance right here? Let's see if it wicks up into there. We crown you King of Glory. We crown you King of Glory. This weekend, I am going scouting. I'm driving out to western Nebraska with a buddy of mine, and we're going to go look at some hunting ground. We're going to go decide if we can go. We're going to identify some spots where we can hunt this fall. I'm kind of excited. We leave this afternoon just for a couple days. We're going to go look. I want to get rid of this fair value gap here. No reason for us to have that. This is really smooth right here. Yeah, we could drop, but I kind of would like to see that. That would be really nice. That would give us a breaker as well. So we got a high, low, higher high, and a displacement breaker. That would give us our entry. That would be really nice. I would take that. And it makes sense for us to reach back up a little bit higher because of that volume imbalance. If it doesn't, I guess it doesn't need to. I'm just telling you what I would like to see. Man, if it goes long, that will be crazy. That will be crazy. technically that 5-minute fair value gap on the 1 hour reversal is still valid for a long. I'm not going to take it. We're really close, guys. I mean, we're really close to taking a trade here. Everything, it looks good. I would like it to boom, boom, do that. That's a little exaggerated. More like this. My target, if I take one contract, will be sell side liquidity here. If I take multiple contracts, you could easily, which I'm planning on taking multiple contracts, you could probably play this a little bit further if it's going to go. Stapleton, thank you, my friend. I'm glad you appreciate it. Who wants to take a stab at turtle soup right here? I don't. I don't. We crown you king of glory. We crown you king of glory. Here we go, folks. If you hear some kids in the background, my nieces and nephews are in town. No pushing. And they're right outside my door. Waiting, patience, folks, patience, patience. Right now, I am flipping through some sticky notes. I'm just doing something with my hands. My hands aren't on the mouse, just sitting here waiting. Waiting for something to happen, because you don't want to do anything in this. That's just straight consolidation. Barcodes. We don't want that. We don't want to take trades in that. It will come. Viking, what do you think if we close over the 1 hour fair value gap? I think we're still in a potential long, for sure. I'm just not interested in taking it. These equal lows are screaming my name. It's too smooth. It's too smooth. So look how jagged this is. And look how smooth this is. This just says find the entry short. So my narrative that I want to see happen is I want it to hit this volume imbalance. It doesn't have to. I want it to hit that volume imbalance, sell off, come back up, tag the low for a breaker entry, and then run lower. That is what I want to happen. Yes. That's what I would like. Now, if it doesn't, what does that mean? It means you're going to have to take a gamble or it runs without you. What does a 15-minute look like? 15-minute did sweep at the 15-minute high. Did the 30-minute do that? No, 30-minute did not. We're going to get a new 15-minute candle here in 2.5 minutes. If the body closes inside here, we could still wick up into there and then sell, or it could just roll over immediately. But it makes sense. The 15-minute can't close. The 15-minute candle can't close really bullish, or we're not going to see that sell-off. So I actually like the idea of it closing inside of all of this. We'll see what it does. We still got 2 minutes left. This inversion to these equal highs looks really nice. We get a close above this inversion fair value gap. That's not a bad entry, especially because we still have a bullish narrative as well. Closing above this. Close the door, please. It's okay. Just close the door. If it closes above this, that's an inversion to these equal highs. This is smooth, right? That's smooth. I like it. Am I going to take a short right here? No, I don't have a breaker. I don't have an inversion that's very obvious to the downside, so I can't do anything with that. We have a 3-minute inversion right here that closes in a minute. We could consider that. What do we have on the 4-minute? On the 4-minute, we have that same level, so I like that as well. And then on the 5-minute, we have that. So on the 3, 4, and 5, when we close, the 4-minute and 3-minute, that's nice. If we close right here, if we close below this level, I would take a short. I'm not sure we're going to get it. All right, so that looks bullish. Inversion. I might take this, folks. Relatively equal highs. I'll have a tight stop loss. I think I will take this.
Order submitted.
All right, I'm going to take that. Target is these highs. Stop loss is a close below that inversion. That. If it closes below that, we get out. If it runs this low, you just close the trade altogether. Doesn't look favorable. Okay, it closed below. I have not closed the trade. I'm hanging on a second, seeing if it wants to bounce. If it comes back down, I'm closing the trade. I'm going to reduce my size here in case it wants to go back down. I had 5 contracts, reduced to 2 contracts. If this goes red, I'm closing the trade. We did tag a bullish breaker right here. Target is technically these equal highs, or you can move your stop loss to break even when we hit those equal highs. I'm going to see if it wants to run higher. So when we hit those equal highs, I'll be moving my stop to break even if we can get there. It's struggling here. My only narrative that I have was it hitting these equal highs. If it wants to run higher, I didn't expect it to. I was only interested in it running to those highs right here. I'm going to sell one contract there, and I'll have a remainder contract, one remaining contract if we can get up to that high. Moving stop to break even. I'm not going to let it drop with and stops at break even. That's crazy. If it's not going to hit right there, I'm going to move this a little bit higher for a potential push up there. If it's either going to stop me out, it could easily stop me out here. But see how close it got? So now if it comes back to that level, it should push through that a little bit harder and not just tap it. So I'm going to see if I can have it reach a little bit higher before I close that position. But it's struggling here, folks. I easily could get stopped out right here. Swept that high. Is it going to give it to me? I would have been... You don't just do that. I'm going to close that trade. Or I take that back. I closed that position. I have one position left.
Order canceled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
I'm going to go ahead and close that trade. All right, folks. That's 2 for 2. 2 trades, 2 wins. Hit target. I think since it's Friday, I think it's a good time to call it quitso and go into the weekend green. J Money, hey brother, just in to say I used your code and passed 11 of 20 Apex at 90%. Let's get it. Way to go. Get it. Nice job. Now don't blow those accounts because that'll cost you $1,000. Good call. Ryan, yeah, I don't know what to say other than that's how I felt about it. It respected this 3-minute. It respected the 3-minute, respected the 4-minute, respected the 5-minute. So when we closed and we had this aggressive candle giving us the inversion, that just said, hey, we're probably running for these equal highs, hopefully higher. And that's kind of where that came from. And we also had this breaker. So there was multiple confluence that supported the idea. If it was just this inversion, I would have been out as soon as this candle closed below. But it closed below. We also had this breaker. We had the 3, 4, and 5-minute finding support. We had the 1-minute inversion, and we barely closed below it and immediately closed back in it. That I was like, all right, I'll let it play out to this high. Lance, second week in futures. Yesterday looking on YouTube for Good Trader. Found you, followed you. Very valuable watching your channel today. Thank you. Thanks, Lance. I appreciate it. I'm glad you found me. Stick around. We'll be back. We're live 9:15 every weekday morning, except Tuesdays. Sometimes Tuesdays I'll do an afternoon session, but I won't do any trading or live trading on Tuesday morning. The market's really slow. Even though we're probably running this high, I'm not interested in taking it right now. I'm going to be done. I did open a take profit trader account, and we are $300 away from passing that. So, but there's a big part of me that just wants to pass it today. But I probably am going to exercise discipline and walk away and be just okay with getting it next week. There's always another day. It's that desire to, like, we're so close, let's just do it now, that you end up blowing accounts. I've blown many that way. Many accounts that way. Yeah. Okay, folks. Keep an eye out for a video this weekend titled, Should Christians Trade? I think you guys know the answer, especially if you see me on here. But I'm putting a video together on the most common objections that I see that Christians have when it comes to trading. You have, if you're trading, you are living a materialistic lifestyle. That's an objection people have. Well, you need to rely on the Lord for provision. Another objection people have. We need to be like, we need to not live in wealth. We need to live in poverty and let the Lord provide, live by faith. Well, living by faith doesn't mean you live in poverty. So we're going to go through and answer these objections. I think it's going to be a really powerful video. So keep an eye on that. And if you want to share it, great if you guys share any of the videos that I pop up there. Especially the spiritual and trader combo, kingdom and trading combos. Those are the ones I really, really care about, because I think they have more of an impact on, you can't trade, you can't be profitable, you can't create a future if you have the wrong mindset. So a big part of this channel is correcting wrong mindsets, correcting an improper way of thinking. that's contrary to a biblical worldview. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of religious worldviews out there, and it goes against really what I believe the Bible actually tells us to do. So we're going to be posting that this weekend. It's going to be a good one. Keep an eye out for that. But until next time, guys, stay safe. Good trading. God bless you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It was a good stream. There's a lot of great lessons. If you joined later and you didn't get the early lessons, there was two main things that I talked about earlier. Go back and rewatch the live stream because it will significantly help your trading as you are able to identify those things. So God bless, guys. Stay safe, and we will see you all next week. Take care.